going on, guys? So it's been a while since I made a video. So yeah, today we're working on the Supra, this guy. We're gonna be installing this. Don't mind the mess. It's a Hayden electrical rad fan controller, part number 4003647. Basically what's going on is I have my rad fans from a Ford Contour, great fans, wired up pretty much to a switch. I had tried tapping and putting this guy in here before. The problem is that once this gets hot and the fans kick on, it doesn't cool off enough to turn the fans off, so the fans just continuously stay on. So I actually also have a switch inside the cab. Don't mind the mess and how dirty this car is. I haven't washed it in a while, plus I let it sit outside over winter and underneath trees, so all the leaves and all that shit are in there. But yeah, so basically what I'm going to be doing is keeping the switch in the dash, and then I will be kind of dealing with this organized mess here, and jumping that harness into that. So we'll see how it goes, and it might take me a little bit because I can't remember how I wired up the fans correctly, so I'll be tracing wires for a bit. But otherwise, I think it'll be quick. Alright, so we're back. Whole other day, because I had forgotten my tools in my woman's car, and yeah, she came back and then I just did it and I totally forgot to record it. So previously I had said I had my fans wired up to a switch and to running off ground. So what I did is I actually took the box. This is where I had my old relay. The relay actually fit on this little bracket here, which was nice, but this one unfortunately got kind of screwed in. There's a hole there and like another hole there. So yeah, I have both fans wired on one wire coming up. You can see that wire there is technically the negative, and then the other wire, this one here, would be the positive. So, or no, sorry, I had it backwards. The black one is negative on these Contour fans, and then green is positive. So those wires come up and the ground goes to chassis ground. The red is your constant power, so that goes, I have a relay switch here instead of a fuse, so I simped it because a breaker is so much better. That way you still have your fans. If you're stuck in traffic, you can turn it off and not have to be stranded on the side of the road looking for a fuse. This will click back on after it's cooled down, so I would highly suggest going with the breaker switch for your rad fan wiring, and that goes straight to battery. So that's my constant 12 volts. Yellow is switched power, which I just have tied into this, so when I go key on, power comes in to this wire here, which is just T-spliced. These aren't really good to have, but I've had this one specifically on my car for 4 years now with a 50 amp breaker, and because it's switched power, you don't need a lot. But usually these things corrode or the wire will get cut in half, and I kind of just lucked out, so I've kept it and it still works. Green is switched power. So before I was running my fans with switched negative. So basically when I hit the switch in the chassis, in the cab there, it'd be ground. So it just went to a bolt. I ended up switching that and making that power. So now I have switched power to this into the switch, and then the other wire from the other side of the switch goes to a wire that has 12 volt switch power. So as long as my key is on in my ignition, I can turn on the fans whenever I want. Orange wire goes to the fan positive, which goes under my fuse box and goes to this wire here. So that's the green wire. As I'm pulling it, you can see it's tugging it. Blue wire is not used. I gotta cut that still. So this would be actually to the second fan over there, but I have both my fans tied to the same wire and then running just off this orange. This probably should be fused, but like it definitely should be fused, but because it's its own circuitry, I'm not really worried about it frying anything. Like this is switched 12 volts, and yeah. Black is ground, which I have here going to this bolt. I need to get a connector for it. I thought I had them here, but I don't. They're actually at my shop. So, and I have a torn Achilles tendon, so I technically can't drive right now. Legally, I'm not allowed, but yeah, so I've got to ride there. Anyways, and then, so what I really wanted to show you guys, no one talks about this. It's kind of like a shot in the dark, and I just went for it and figured it out. So on here, that little white guy there is the adjuster. So clockwise, going that way, turning right, is going to increase the temperature rating that the thermostat, which is also this guy, which I just shoved into my rad here, which is increasing that. So the engine would have to be hotter, say 200, and if I turn it counterclockwise left, then the fans will kick on at a lower temperature. So what I did is I put the thermostat in there, wired it all up, checked it first with the switch to make sure the switch power could work, just in case my engine got hot. Once that was working, I started the engine, let it warm up, revved the shit out of it because I love the sound of turbos, and then I started with this higher and slowly worked my way down, got it to where it turned on, turned off the engine, let the fan stay on for however long they stay on for till it cooled itself off, which was honestly pretty quick. And then I started the car up again and then went down one more click, and then I actually started the car again after doing that and went down one more click, just because I rather my fans come on when I'm like in traffic than them be on just from driving. So I also wanted, for better fuel mileage, I wanted the engine to always be an operating temp. So our weather here in Canada can, like, we had snow 3 weeks ago, not even, actually 2 weeks ago. It's plus 30 today, and then a week and a half ago it was like -7 with snow in the morning. So temperature can change super dramatically, especially where I live. So yeah, that is the wiring up of the fan. The main thing is the adjustment knob is that little tiny little white guy with the blue box around it. You just stick a small flathead in there and turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, and you'll physically feel it click the relay on, and you'll hear it click too. So yeah, every time I've looked for a tutorial on these, no one really talks about that, so I really wanted to get that. So you can see I have a switch. Fans kick on. Temp gauge. Fans are off at the moment. We'll give it a sooner or later. Should kick on. Getting kind of late. I don't really want to boost it. The neighbor's gonna bitch. have them start sooner, I go counterclockwise.